Yes.
Oh, just a quick clarification on the certificate of regard matter. That matter was actually inadvertently dismissed about a month and a half ago, and that's the one where we had that brief exchange where it was mistakenly dismissed. We put it on record, and then the court ordered a default judgment. I think the clerks accidentally put it back on calendar, and I found out after I was here for a separate matter that they logged it in for two. So they took something that the court on the record said default judgment. We're waiting for a judgment about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Did you submit a default judgment?
No, and that informs the second issue that I have here. And the reason I have is, long story short, is, and the court knows this, I'm not going to take up all its time, but just very briefly, if a counsel's on a tenancy matter, then any action that's filed has to be e-filed. And
well, a couple issues here. Sure. You never filed an appearance on this.
Sure.
So when I'm looking for a plaintiff 30 minutes after the case was supposed to be called,
sure.
And there's no name for it, who am I supposed to? How am I supposed to know who is?
No, I'm with you.
On there?
No.
So
I'm with you.
I don't know what the clerk's office may or may not have done. I have no idea. All I know is that this was on my docket for today for 2 o'clock. The defendant was sitting here, and after 30 minutes, we dismissed the case.
Sure, I know, but that was 3 weeks after the court already ordered a default judgment when I was here on that same case.
I recognize that, but right. When you don't file it 3 weeks ago, you didn't file a default?
Sure, yeah, but not filing a default doesn't validate the ability for the court. You know, it doesn't.
If you had filed a default, the case would have been closed.
Sure, but
when that and we have attorneys that never file their defaults or never file their dismissals, and they leave it on me, then I have to go back in there and either set it for another hearing or enter the dismissal. And so this probably, and I don't have the case open, was not an issue of the clerk's office making an error. What they do when the default was supposed to be entered and it does not get entered by the plaintiff, they ask me if I want to just dismiss the case or set it for another hearing. And that's probably why this got reset for another hearing. That was not a mistake. You never filed the mistake was you never filed the default.
And I can appreciate the court saying that that's something that can happen. When the court says probably more likely than not, the reason that I'm a little bit resistant to that is that while we were here, we've had a pattern within the history of the same case where it was dismissed before wrongfully, accidentally, and inadvertently, and we have back and forth and change. But with all that said, the reason I didn't file it.
Put the case back in here so I can pull it up. What case is this is
I have a docket in here.
It's Shakita Bogart 25-00871.
It's a 1L2. And so the reason that I didn't file it is that if I would have filed an appearance, it would have precluded my client from doing all the paperwork. So initially, I was just going to come here limited appearance. I know that's subjective outside the scope of what the court does. I'm just saying.
We know good and well that if attorney is representing, they're supposed to file an appearance.
Sure.
How are we supposed to know who's appearing on behalf of an attorney if you don't file an appearance?
Sure, but not knowing who appears is different than a case that should have been on the record.
The issue was you didn't file a default.
No, but that's what I'm saying, Your
Honor. Yeah, the issue, I don't see I didn't file a default, Your Honor.
Your Honor, you're talking about something different than I'm trying to.
Had you filed a default, we wouldn't be here today.
Your Honor, and there's clouds in the sky too, but what I'm saying.
No, there's not no clouds in the sky. Had you filed a default, we would not be here on the docket today.
Your Honor, I could say the same thing over and over, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying something completely different. And if the court will hear it out, what I'm saying is before, if we go by, if something shouldn't have happened or would have happened the way that it was supposed to, we wouldn't have been here.
Why are we talking then? What?
No, the point is.
No, you were supposed to file an appearance, you didn't do it. You were supposed to enter a default, you didn't do it. The case gets reset because it's lingering. It could have just been dismissed then because it's lingering. If you're supposed to file a default and you don't do it, the court either has to dismiss the case or the court sets it for another hearing. The case is set for a hearing today. You want to rely on the idea that you believe that this was erroneously set for a hearing.
Yes.
The error was that you did not file a default. That is the error that brought us here today.
Your Honor, I can appreciate you saying that loudly.
That's the error.
To say that there's one error doesn't mean that there can't be.
You can leave my courtroom. Don't talk about me saying anything loudly. The reason I gotta say it loudly because I said it 7 times, and you're not, and you want to talk about some hypotheticals that make no sense. I have other people that are waiting for their case to be called timely.
Your Honor,
and so you can remove yourself from my courtroom, or you can remove this case. This is over. It's been dismissed.
The court's still talking to me while I'm leaving.
Bye.
Take care.
Yep. Okay. Go. Will you hand me my screen box?
Now go. On the record in the matter of Ahmad Rahim versus Timothy Collins, 25-01551. Today was the date scheduled for a hearing, and this is for non-payment of rent. And my understanding is that you all are unable to come to a resolution. What's the past due rent that's owed?
1,300 for March and now 1,300 for April.
April rent became due when?
On the 5th.
On the 5th?
Yep.
Oh, well, this paperwork was wrong anyway. So 2,600 is what's owed,
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
plus court costs?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you believe you have a lawful reason not to pay that?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the lawful reason?
Several things, since I moved in, things were messed up. The door has not been secure ever since from move-in, he changed the top lock and that's it. I got pictures. I think somebody got raided or something.
When did you move in there?
February.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Oh, so you just moved in here?
February, January, maybe January.
You just moved in?
Yes, January 8th.
And so you moved in February. You had some concerns about
January 8th, Your Honor.
January 8th?
Yep.
He moved in January 8th?
Yes, Your Honor.
That sound right?
I don't know. I think so. I know it was a couple months. I know it's been months since my door has been
Okay. When you moved in January 8th, the door was broke?
broke off the hinges like somebody kicked it in.
This is the front door?
The very front door.
Okay, and you notified, obviously he was aware. No, correct. Because you did a walkthrough?
100%.
Okay, so he was aware that the door was supposed to be fixed?
100%.
What else was wrong?
I got pictures of everything.
Tell me what they are. Tell me what the issues are.
So there was when you go in the living room to the right of the stairs, it was cracked. Like somebody kicked it. It was cracked.
The living room?
The
What was
doors
cracked?
have mirrors on them.
The door
So
was
the door was
cracked
cracked.
on to the living room.
On the front hallway living room. It was a front door. The light upstairs, when you first go upstairs, I don't know the side, the electrical's messed up, doesn't cut on.
What room is this?
That's the hallway light upstairs going into the bathroom. There's a door in the living room downstairs that's gone.
It's the issue with doors here, huh?
The door is just completely gone.
Okay, door gone.
Yeah, the door's gone. I got one door on the closet. Right. Okay. And then just like 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, I told him that the toilet handle was messed up.
That was
It came off.
Thursday.
We're not gonna talk over each other.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know how long ago it was.
Okay, but you notified him
It ain't get fixed.
that the toilet's messed up,
Yeah.
so you can't flush it?
No, I can't flush it. I haven't been able to flush it for however long it's
How many
messed up.
toilets do you have?
2. So I've been
So
using
toilet,
downstairs.
which toilet is this?
The upstairs on the main.
Upstairs, not working. What, is there anything else?
That's it.
And so you escrowed your rent?
Yeah, well, yes, I got the 13. I got the other 13, just on my regular account.
No, escrow means you put it in a
Yes, ma'am.
escrow account at the court?
Yes, ma'am. I got the escrow right, got the picture of that right here too. I just
Whose
opened
account is that?
Mine.
No, that's not how you escrow your rent.
Well, I went there, they're like escrow, you open it, I'm like, how you open
You
escrow?
gotta escrow it at the court.
Oh, well, I got the proof is there, I mean.
Okay, but you have pictures? Did you show him your pictures?
No, he ain't seen them
You can
yet.
show him your evidence.
He told me.
Are you disputing that the doors and all the stuff he said is broke?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
You're disputing it?
Yeah.
It's fixed?
Yeah, the second day, that is a condo, so the outdoor is association responsibility. So I called them.
It's who's,
The
the
association.
outside door is the association?
Yep.
So this is a condo that you're renting?
Yep.
It's registered
Yes,
as a
Your
rental?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, keep going.
And the second day, he moved in the 8th. On the 9th, I scheduled the fix for the door. On the 9th, he went to Kentucky, and they weren't able to come and fix it.
Why?
They came, but they even asked me if I called them again, and nobody there, because he has the key to the house, the only key, and he went to Kentucky.
Okay, so then the door is not fixed.
No, they came another day and they fixed the lock on the door.
But he said it's off the hinges.
The other one is they said this is non-emergency, and they have it in the list for next. We have 240.
Since January,
No,
it's
no,
on a
no,
list?
Yeah,
to get fixed?
they say it's gonna be May. Because it's non-emergency, it's just the
Oh,
lower.
front door is not
Yeah.
emergency?
No, it locks
Let me
and
see,
unlocks.
get his pictures, please.
Yeah. You can lock it from the top lock, but the lower one, the one has a problem. And they put the lock, but it doesn't latch the down one. But you can lock the door, secure the lock, and close it and open it with the key. Absolutely secure.
Is there an apartment number?
No, it's just 6244, the condo.
No. I don't see that it's a registered rental.
The next inspection in
Hey,
September.
it says this was due by the 10th of this month. You just paid this today,
No,
or yes, this
that's
week.
it.
You just paid this week,
Yeah,
but you moved him in there already.
no, because it expired in February, the license. And that would takes, they send me the paper and just I can pay this payment for the
That's
renewal.
totally, I printed on the wrong paper and I had to go, so. That's the toilet, you see the thing off.
Okay, so the toilet, he's been advised that the toilet was broke. You have a door. This is a sliding door in a closet,
Yes, ma'am.
and it's broke. This is your front door?
Yes, ma'am.
How is this non-emergency that his front door is?
I didn't
Bro.
see the picture.
Well, I asked him to give you the pictures, and there's a glass here that's broken. What's that?
It's a sliding door, that door, same door. That
Same door in the closet?
A different,
I
that's a
took it
different
to-
closet.
A different
though.
door?
Yeah, that's a different
What
closet,
is-
so.
What is this?
That's in the kitchen, that's been like that, it's like, I don't know if it's moldy or what it is, I don't know what that is.
This light doesn't work is what you're saying?
No, it doesn't work either.
Is there other lights in this room?
Yes, there are.
So you're able to get light in that room?
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Oh, no, that's,
Oh, no?
don't talk when I'm talking.
Okay.
You can give that to him to look at.
Thanks.
I got a video also of the light upstairs, just so you know, that doesn't work. I could change the light bulbs and all of that.
You- Okay, were you aware that those issues needed to be fixed?
The door,
The door, the light, the closet door, and what else was it? The bathroom, the
the
toilet?
bathroom, he sent me a message on Thursday. That's not.
I'm not asking you when he sent you. Are you aware that it needs to be fixed?
Yeah, he sent me the message.
Okay, when are you getting it
I
fixed?
was, I told him to call the 800, but I already scheduled somebody to change the whole thing.
You told him to call what?
never told
Wait,
me.
wait, don't talk when I'm talking.
Sorry.
You told him to call what 800?
On the toilet, it's the high efficiency one. I'm just gonna change it now.
You're the landlord, something's broken, and you told him to call the number that's in the toilet?
No, I will call them.
Oh, okay.
They didn't give me a good answer anyway.
Okay, so you're saying this is the condo association is responsible for the front door?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, then you're responsible until it's fixed, because if the door is not safe, you're still responsible.
It is safe, Your Honor.
You don't get to determine that it's safe. It didn't look, it doesn't look safe.
Have you seen the picture before?
Beachfield, is it south side?
Yes,
It
Your
is,
Honor.
right by the hood.
You can lock it and unlock it
It
securely.
could be
with-
kicked in easily too. 'cause
No, no,
it's-
no.
yeah,
The dead
I'm
lock is-
I am looking at the picture.
but-
The door has to be replaced because
No,
it's-
no, it's a
the
lock.
door has to be replaced. That's why there's a work order for it to be replaced.
No, the latch.
Has to, give me the
door is
picture of the
good,
door.
latch is
Give me the picture of the door.
The door is fine, Your Honor.
This is the door, and it looks like there's a piece of wood missing here.
And the latch.
Is that correct?
Yeah, the whole door, it don't close. You gotta lock it. If you don't, it's gonna fly open.
Well, you gotta lock the door anyways, but the door looks like someone did kick it in at some
Yeah,
point,
they kicked in him, but the latch is.
because it was kicked in,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The door needs to be replaced. It's been breached. So the door was supposed to be replaced. You should have had it done before you moved someone in there. I don't believe,
I have yes, sir.
I don't believe that the things that he's amounting arises to the level of no rent being paid. But if you take it all in compilation, all of these issues are not yet being addressed. I think he should be escrowing his rent at the court. And I'm in order that both months' rent is escrowed immediately this week at the court. Because you need to get this stuff fixed. You don't get to just rent out properties and then issues compile. He's only been there for a course of several months. There shouldn't even be these amount of issues. These should have been taken care of before you decide to put someone in there for your benefit. You're trying to get financial gain off of him living there, but you're not taking care of the responsibilities there. He doesn't have to have a broken toilet. He doesn't have to have lights that are not working. He should have closet doors. He shouldn't have broken glass. You can step outside with your phone. He should have glass that's not gonna shatter and crack, and it's already shattered when he moves in, and you've not done anything. That's the condo association's job too.
No,
Why didn't you get it fixed? Why didn't you get the doors? No, you cannot approach. I want to know, why didn't you get the closet doors fixed?
Because when he moved in, I told him I'm gonna take this mirror and put it in the basement, which I did. And the closet has another door, like has a side door. And even when I lived in the house, I use it as to put flowers, and it's not like a closet. It's a pantry.
It's a what?
It's a pantry by them.
A pantry?
Yes. So it has one door still here.
No, it's supposed to have two doors.
I know, Your Honor.
Yeah.
That's what I told him when he moved in.
But
I'm gonna take this to the basement, and he agreed. He said, okay.
But he wants it fixed. It's a closet. It's supposed to be fit for a closet.
It's a pantry.
It's not. What is a pantry?
For food. I don't know. They call it that.
It's supposed to have a door there?
Yes.
So you want him to have a pantry?
No, I will put the door.
This pantry's supposed to be there with his food, and it's just open, is what you're saying. Because you didn't want to replace the door.
No, Your Honor.
You took the door downstairs because it was broken.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you need to replace the broken door.
Yes, Your Honor.
When is it going to be replaced?
As soon as I get him out, I don't even have the money to replace it if he doesn't pay. And
did you put a deposit down? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
yes, Your Honor.
Where's his deposit?
It's in the bank where it's supposed to. I will put the door.
Okay. The bath. Then what about the toilet?
The toilet, we've been texting since he moved in about it. This toilet, he just told me Thursday.
You've been texting since you moved in about the toilet?
Huh?
You just told me you've been texting since you moved in about the toilet.
No, about pay the rent. I will pay next month. I'll pay next week. He paid the first month, and then the second month, February, he paid on the 24th. He finished it on the 24th.
What was my question? Was my question about that, or my question was about the toilet?
No, the toilet, he just told me on Thursday.
Yeah, when he get it fixed was my question.
I will replace it
When?
this week, maybe.
Okay, so maybe or yes?
No, this week.
So the toilet will be fixed this week and the door?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's going on with the light that doesn't work?
There is another light in the
No,
area.
but you're not answering my questions. I didn't ask you if there was another light. I'm already aware of that, and you know I'm aware of that because I asked
Yes,
him
yes,
that.
Your Honor.
My question to you was, what's going on with the
I
light
tried to
that
fix this
doesn't
light
work?
100 times. I couldn't just, every time I put the bulb, I even brought licensed electrical.
You had an electrician look at it,
Yes, Your Honor.
and what did they say?
He said there is shortage somewhere.
There's a shortage?
Yeah. and
Okay.
I
And you have a video of how much light you get in your kitchen? Is this the kitchen?
No, it's up the steps. There's no light from the steps. It's just light from the room. No
So this is the hallway, or,
Yeah.
okay.
As soon as you get up the steps,
So-
no light.
so the light in the hallway to the stairs is what's out.
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
inside your unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how do you get light when you're going up the stairs?
Don't have any light.
You got one down the stairs.
That's from down. That goes to the living room.
That has one down and one up. That's
the
one
that
up
goes to the
is
living
not
room.
working.
It points to the living room. It's like a little thing. It points to the living room.
Let me see the video. Okay, is this like, are there bedrooms up here or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so it looks like there's a window. Are you getting some sunlight there?
Well, there's a window in the room.
This is a room?
No, that's the hallway.
Yeah, so there's some light coming in from somewhere.
From my room.
Okay, your bedroom door is open,
Yeah,
so you're getting some light in this area, but let's say it's dark outside. Can you see in this hallway?
Yeah, I mean, you can see from the other from the other lights, but there's no
Okay.
light in the whole hallway. You ain't gonna see coming up the stairs.
Okay, the light does need to get fixed. I don't know that it's an emergency,
I would say.
but it does need to get fixed. I just want to make sure you can get up the stairs without tripping because it's dark. But you should have a door. It shouldn't take 3 months to get the door fixed. If he moved
They
in,
fix it right the next day. The emergency part of it, that's what they say,
they fix what the next day.
the lock of the door.
So when he moved in, the lock didn't work.
No, I
It
couldn't get
worked,
out.
but you
I had
have
go
to-
the back door. It
You
was
both were
dark
talking
outside.
at the same time. How am I supposed to know what's going on, sir?
Go ahead.
No, I want you, when you moved in, the front door didn't lock?
No, it was stuck. So I had to go through the snow, through the back door and get in.
Okay, and so they came and fixed the lock, but they're supposed to come and do something else to the door.
They fixed the top lock. They didn't fix the door at all, the lock or the door. So to close the door, to close it, I have to lock it. I have to lock the top lock. If I don't, it's just gonna fly open.
To close the door, you have to lock the top one?
Yes, ma'am.
So, because the door's been breached, obviously. And he said that they're coming in, they can't come till May, which at this point, May is a week from now. But when the work order was put in, why did it take 90 days to get that?
They said they have 240 unit and this is non-emergency. That's what they said.
240
I will-
units
I
in
will-
90 days?
I will replace that, the lunch. I will have somebody just from outside, I think.
Well, I thought you said that it had to be the condo association to do it. How is it that you can now do it
Yeah, I
yourself?
will do it since we could,
Or wouldn't that go against your condo association
no,
agreement?
that you can fix it if you're, you don't want to wait for the emergency.
Well, then, if
At your
that was
cost.
the case, how come it wasn't done then?
Because it was an emergency, I thought the door is locked. And the second day I asked him, is they fix the lock? He said, yes, they fix
Okay.
the up lock and the door is fine.
I'm gonna reset this. You need to escrow your rent at the court this week. You need to bring proof that the door to the front of the house access has been secured so that he's not dealing with the issue with the partially breached door. And then you also need to make sure that the closet door, because he's got clothes in that space.
Yes, ma'am.
Closet door has been secured, and whatever's going on with the broken glass, whatever door that is, that needs to be fixed as well or
It's
removed.
the same thing, the door
It's the
is
same
glass.
door.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so then
okay.
that one door is two doors that needs to be
Yes,
addressed.
Your Honor.
And you all can work on the light issue, and the toilet's gotta get fixed. I don't know what's going on with the toilet, but that needs to get fixed. I'm gonna give you a new
When-
date.
Your Honor, can I think? When he moved, everything is working in this, all thing except the broken door. Everything else is working.
The light
Because-
wasn't working when he moved in there.
No, it was working.
No,
It
you
blows,
told,
it blows because I know it was working, but it blows.
you told me when you lived there, it wasn't working, that you
Yeah,
had
but-
somebody come.
I put the light bulb, it stay for a couple of days and then it will burn. So-
You told me already
Yes,
that it wasn't working when you lived there.
yes, Your Honor, but.
So
I
you
fi-
can't
I
tell
fixed
me
it
that it was working when you
Because
lived
I
there.
fixed it because I had rental from Section 8. I go through everything and get it ready for the inspection. They have inspection before I rent it to him.
The light was broken. You already told me. So, but I'm not even making a light a big issue, but you can't tell me that everything was fixed because it wasn't fixed. The door wasn't fixed. The light wasn't fixed when he moved in because you told me when you lived there, you had an electrician come. And the toilet is a new issue because he just told you about that this week.
This week.
So you're gonna get all those things
Yes,
fixed.
Your Honor.
And then we're gonna come back and you're gonna provide me evidence that it's been fixed.
Yes, Your Honor. When?
May 21st at 1:30? Yeah. May 21st at 1:30. But you need to escrow your rent with the court within 7 days.
Okay.
Is that including May, Your Honor?
This, every month of that accrued, he has to escrow with the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, any additional matters for today? We'll get you both a notice to appear.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Town Center Place versus Jacqueline King. This is your motion.
Your Honor, we request, per COD, that Ms. King be granted an additional 30 days to move. As per the terms of the COD, her condition was to show that she has, been looking for new housing. I provided a letter from Ms. Little from Housing Europe for Seniors showing the properties that she's applied to. Since that letter, she's even applied to even more. She's been accepted at about 3 of them, but she hasn't had her interview yet. And then even after she has her interview, there's no guarantee that the apartment will be ready in a certain time. And I also filed a response.
So when are her interviews?
Would you mind if Ms. Little comes up?
Yeah. That's fine.
So yeah, so Ms. King has been selected for 3 apartments. And one specifically, she's in the process of an interview. We don't have a date yet because there's still some paperwork. It's a really long process to get all of this done in such a short time frame, honestly, to get everything done. And so I would think the interview would be next week or so. She just needs to get down there and get it scheduled. I mean, the apartment that, we have the biggest lead on isn't one we really want her to go to, because obviously in this short time frame, she's not gonna get a great option to move into. So it'd be nice if we got her from the others, but we'll probably have to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Response.
We're asking, for a written for the additional order of dismissal to be enforced. Part of the additional dismissal order was that she paid rent, she paid full rent, she paid timely rent. And we've informed her, as you see in the answer, of she recertified, her rental increase went up to $270 a month, and she's still been paying $247. So she owes currently $79. And she was supposed to pay on time, full amount of rent, stated in the initial dismissal. She has not. She's been informed that she had been paid by a letter and less both times, and she has not submitted any extra money. And
Yeah.
Your Honor, the ledger that plaintiff submitted with their answer is not the ledger that they seem to have removed all of the hat payments and Ms. King's credit, and produced this ledger that they claim is what she has paid. However, I've asked on more than one occasion for a complete ledger. This ledger starts in April of 2020. Ms. King has lived at Town Center for at least 8 years, and she's been in this new apartment for.
When was she recertified?
I think it's in April or March.
it was January 16th, 2025.
January of this year.
Yes. The effective date was March 1st, 2025.
Of the rent. So it's March and April. That
And go ahead. Your Honor, as part of the terms of the consent order for additional dismissal, we were to wipe her ledger as
I recall.
We did that. So before that date, shouldn't be in controversy here.
Well, that's what I was curious about.
Your Honor, the reason it's in controversy is because they wiped her account and included her February's payment, supposed to be February 7th, and they wiped her credit. Now, what my understanding of wiping her account was to remove the charges that she had since.
She was to zero out, that's what was supposed to happen.
Okay. So she gets zeroed out the credit that she has and the payment that she made for February? Because if you look back to prior to them filing this case, she had been paying $200.
I'm not relitigating the case.
Okay. Well, Your Honor, the COD says that she abide by the terms of the lease. This is subsidized housing. Paying rent late, which she didn't do because she paid on the 5th, and they didn't process it until the 6th. And not paying the full amount of rent is not a eviction cause for subsidized housing. They are required to offer payment arrangements. The goal is for subsidized housing.
She entered into a COD that she was gonna pay her rent timely.
No, COD says she would not violate her lease. This is not a non-payment of rent case. Never has been.
Does she have the 79?
Yes, Your Honor, she has $79.
Then why are we arguing? Why doesn't she pay it?
Because she has credit on her account, Your Honor. It's not fair for them to keep the credit, and they reverse the half payment at a different
All right.
time. And
This
it's not a
is
violation. It's not a violation.
This is
of the lease.
ridiculous.
Exactly.
No, it is simply what your argument is ridiculous.
Okay.
Because what I'm gonna do is she was to abide by the terms. She has to pay her rent on time, got her account zeroed out, gave time for her to find new housing, gave an opportunity to then come before the court and ask for additional time if she showed that she was doing that and complying with the COD. She's not in compliance with the COD. I'm gonna deny the motion to extend the time.
Your Honor, thank you. How is she not in compliance with the COD? It doesn't specifically say that she has to pay her rent one time.
It
or the
does.
full amount. It does.
It does.
It has things for late payments. It has other things that if you go to paragraph 23 or whatever, it lists the things that you can terminate.
You sign, I'm sorry. Your Honor,
Yes.
the second line from the last line says defendant will pay March and April rent at normal time. Your signature is right here.
And she pays on the 5th.
She did not pay her full rent.
Okay, but she paid on the 5th.
She didn't pay her full rent. We can go round and round in circles. Motion denied. Motion denied. I'm not going around and round in circles on this.
So Your Honor, we'll submit a writ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Court does call the case of Sycamore versus P.
Thursday, 67390, on behalf of plaintiff, I do appreciate you putting this at 11 for me to be able to make it.
Not a pro. Not a
I
pro.
appreciate that as well, Your Honor. That's
Oh, you were just trying to tag on. No.
Jill Bauer. Jill Bauer on behalf of Ms. P, who is present, I'm from Legal Services, P number 69260. I do want to let the court know Ms. P was assaulted this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A near stranger, and is
That's
definitely want to be here.
understood.
She's not feeling the best.
All right. Okay. This is your request.
Your Honor, first of all, I would never want court to think that I essentially misled the court, so I did lose track of the order that Ms. Newman highlighted in her answer. However, I do think that the order is subject to interpretation, and it does say that my client would remove any and all belongings, and I think the definition of belongings tends to be smaller personal items that can be easily moved. At this point, the other thing is, we had a discussion on record of Ms. P back in January of our request that Ms. P be able to move her items to a part of the house where they wouldn't interfere with the repairs. And it was represented at that time that there was structural damage to the unit. However, I reviewed the fire report. It doesn't say anything about structural damage. And now that a lot of the drywall debris has been cleared from the ceiling, I really don't, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I don't see that there was structural damage to the unit. So where we are at this point is.
I think the import of that, I don't mean to interrupt you, was that in essence, there was going to have to be a gutting of this place. And so the issue of whether or not there's actual damage may have to be assessed at some other point, because my understanding was the unit needed to be gutted, which is why things could not remain there.
I just don't think that that's accurate at this point, that it actually had to be completely gutted. But I just wanted to, where we are at this point, Ms. P went in, she removed what she could into 2 vehicles that were in the parking lot. And then those vehicles were recently towed and she wasn't able to get any of those belongings. So now she's down to.
What do you mean?
She had 2 vehicles that were parked outside of her unit at Sycamore and they towed them. And all, those vehicles had all of the belongings that she was able to salvage. So she's down to a few items that remain in her unit that she doesn't have the finances or ability to move, and she would like them to remain in the basement. And it's a washer and a dryer, an air conditioner, and 2 barbecue grills. Is what she's asking to store there while the repairs are made.
Council, my problem here is this. As we were working through this case, and why the order reads the way that it is, was to give Ms. P time to get her things out of the unit. And I'll be honest with you, and I don't think you're trying to mislead the court or anything. I mean, people, there's a lot of orders that fly around here, so I'm not thinking that at all. But she's got to get the things out. I mean, that's kind of where we were trying to figure out how that would come about. And I mean, the date and the timing of everything, if you recall, I think we went through that 2 or 3 times to try to get that done. One time where there was sort of a ruling from the bench, but there wasn't an order, and then that didn't happen. And then we had to come back and try to deal with it again. And now I'm here again. Yes.
And I would like the court to know, every time I've been asked from opposing counsel for her, whether it was, if we go back to the day that you ordered, which was, I believe, February 6th, Ms. P didn't show up until 4 o'clock to remove the items, and office closed at 4:30. I received an email 2 weeks later from opposing counsel. We gave her that entire day to do it. She took what she wanted. I just want to address the cars. The cars were inoperable. HUD actually sent my client, and it's in my brief. It's in my motion, the copy of the email. HUD made Sycamore tag them. They were inoperable. The day they were tagged on Friday, they were not moved until Tuesday. Council knew about it. As soon as they were removed, I got for council a copy of where the towing company and where they were at, so she could go get her stuff. I feel like we bent over backwards to give her time. Then I had a message about the washer and dryer that she didn't want to lose that. I got my client to agree to give her 7 days to do it. Then last Friday, the time frame came and went, and she never came and got it. This is not Sycamore has bent over backwards to give Ms. P the opportunity to get her things. And here we are again, and we're asking for it again. And last week when council reached out to me, I said, get it done by Monday. Because I told my client, hold off. You can see it in the emails from my client. We're holding off. And here we are, we're asking for more time. It's been 4 months, 5 months.
Your Honor, the reality is that Ms. P is in this situation because she's living in poverty. She doesn't have the resources to move or store these items. She tried to get a storage unit. They wouldn't rent her because she doesn't have a debit card. I mean, she has done nothing wrong, and she's basically too poor to take advantage of the opportunity to move and store these items. And I just don't know why they can't remain in the basement while the unit is being repaired. There's no damage to the floor on the first floor. If you look, there's minimal damage to the structure of the ceiling on between the first and second floor. I brought pictures that shows no burning into the wooden structures between the 2 floors. So I don't know why they would be in the way if they remain in the basement while they repair.
The email from HUD is very clear. The cars needed to be removed. The property needs to be trashed out. My client is doing what they're being told to do at this point.
And if we just look at it just on a whole other angle, but I mean, I'm not even there necessarily, but Ms. Bauer, if the property were to remain there and something happened to the property, whose responsibility would it be?
I haven't discussed if my client is willing to waive unintentional or as long as it's not intentional damage.
Well, but see, that's where that's where the problem comes in. I mean, if somebody, and I'm not even saying that it really by order is reflective of this, but even if the property was there, and then we get into and somehow gets damaged, which can happen when people are doing construction. I mean, it can just happen. But then you get into all this litigation and hearings about, was it intentional? Was it this? Was it this? They didn't put it in a safe spot. So really, Sycamore or their contractors, I mean, you get into a whole bunch of other issues, which all can be avoided if the property is not there. We don't have that issue. I'm sure that's one of the reasons HUD is saying you got to get everything out. We're not, looking for Sycamore or HUD or anybody else to, or any contractor we hire to be placed in a situation of trying to be the guarantor of the safety of somebody's property.
Well, Your Honor, she's been homeless for 6 months now, and the repairs really haven't begun. There's been some clean out. I mean, even if they would let her move them into an unoccupied unit or something, she just does not have the resources to store them.
I know, but you're asking the landlord to assume basically to bail this property, which with that comes certain responsibilities for the landlord. I don't know under what possible theory I would ask the landlord to do something to care for somebody's property. I mean, it's not their business. It's not what they do. And again, just hypothetically, let's say the landlord did put them in some other place on their property, and somebody comes in and creates some vandalism at that place, destroys the property or damages the property. Who's the one responsible for that? And that's the problem. To answer your first question, in looking at my order, the intent of that order is that she remove from the premises everything that she wants to keep. That at the point at which if she leaves something, then the landlord's in a position to say it's abandoned, the landlord can get rid of it and do what they need to do in terms of repair that unit.
Well, this piece, she's just pretty devastated and was hoping to be able to hold on to those last few things. So that's why I
Right. No, I understand. I understand why you're doing it. I get all of that. Problem is, with the cars, the cars are inoperable. You can't just put them there because ultimately they're going to be taken off the premises. That would happen anyway. So, I don't think.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I wasn't assessing any particular, I wasn't making a judgment about that. I was just letting the court know that it's been like a domino effect. Okay, I want to keep these belongings. These are, my personal belongings, and I can't get a storage unit, so I'm going to put them in these vehicles. And then they were in the vehicles for a while, and it seemed like that was going to be a solution. And then all of a sudden, she finds out, they may have been tagged before, but she didn't find out immediately that they were tagged. And then suddenly she goes to look for the vehicles, and they've been towed. And then she wasn't able to get the belongings out of them. So it's just been a domino effect where she's done nothing wrong. She's just a series of unfortunate events. And now she's lost almost 100% of everything material in her life. So it's just the thought of maybe being able to hold on to those last few items was. Ms. P just wanted the court to know that when she first put her belongings in the vehicles, they were operable, but because she was homeless and they were sitting there, I think one of them, the battery died, and one of them, a tire went flat.
And they become inoperable, which is why then after those, if those are the only two things, they tag them with the thought that whoever has the flat tire or the battery or the vehicle won't move or the like will then come and do what they need to do, either to move the vehicle or to put it back in operate. I mean, so I get that.
I think she just wanted you to know that she didn't intentionally leave.
No, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at some point, this part of it has to end. You know, and Ms. Bauer, you know, a lot of folks come before the court with a lot of problems and a lot of issues and a lot of sort of obstacles to overcome. And I think in trying to get through this, and I have to give Sycamore credit because, you know, they could have just taken a really hard line. They didn't, trying to get this going. I've been patient with what might be scheduling or trying to have her get the stuff out. But, you know, at some point, sadly, we just have to be done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I'm going to deny your request for any additional time. What is, having said that, then what is Sycamore's intention in terms of they're not intending at this point to let her back in to get her things set?
I mean, I can make it happen. And that was, I've offered multiple times. So if she wants to go get the washer and the dryer and the air conditioner or the grills, she wants to do it by today, I think she can go. I have no problem with that. I've never had a problem with that. I just need her to actually do it.
She said she would like a chance to get the grills, but she doesn't have any place to put the washer herself. So can you go today by 4 o'clock today to get those grills? They'll happen. I'm assuming if you're offering for you to get that.
If they're there, I don't know what's there, what's not there. Like I'm just, you're telling me that that's what's there, and then she can go.
Well, she saw Sycamore personnel roll the grills to the office.
I asked them more, and I'm putting that on our, they told me they did not do that. But if she wants to go today by 4 o'clock to go get this one. Let's put it on the record. I need to know what time she's going so I can tell them. So let's give me a window.
Okay. So she just wants the court to know she videotaped them moving the grill, and she has talked to someone that said that they're at off. So
You want to know what? I'm done. I'm not going to litigate anymore. I mean, you know, at some point, the problem is everybody is, as we've said, bending over backwards to try to do this. I issued just now denying your motion, which means really we're done. I was looking maybe, and I think Ms. Zany was trying to do the same thing, a bit of compassion to say, okay, if you can get these now, do it, but you got to give us a time. But I'm not going to go through litigating. They took my property. They did this. I'm done. Whatever else anybody else wants to do, you can do it, but you're not doing it with the court sanction. She can, that property at this point, since she has not removed it, is considered abandoned. And that Sycamore may do what they need to do with reference to taking that property out. If you guys work something out without my involvement, do what you got to do. But I'm done.
I do appreciate the court here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Teenage stands in recess.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is a complete joke. He needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're gonna start bringing people in person. People gonna learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no patience for that. And trust me, out of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.